Yo, Big D here on a Tuesday with a little Sweet 16 edition on the Spunky Spectrum Sports YouTube page. Before I go into my Sweet 16 picks, please subscribe, like, and share the Spunky Spectrum Sports YouTube page where I upload all the episodes of the Big D podcast and do live streams. Also, if you love audio podcasts, check out the Big D podcast on Spotify and Apple. So, boy, the NCAA tournament offers more surprises than any major sporting event I can think of, and this year has offered more than its fair share of surprises. I mean, every year there are teams that get on runs that nobody sees coming. I mean, you always see somebody make a surprise run, and this year, when talk about Cinderella, there's no bigger Cinderella than St. Peter's. I mean, the Peacocks from New Jersey have wrecked everyone's bracket. I think we could personally blame St. Peter's for wrecking the most brackets this year. How about this? In St. Peter's first NCAA tournament game on Thursday, the Peacocks didn't just beat any program, they beat Kentucky. Kentucky, Big Blue Nation. Maybe the biggest college basketball program in the country. I mean, you could argue whether it's Kentucky, Kansas, UCLA, Duke, or North Carolina, but Kentucky is always in consideration. I'm not sure there's a bigger fan base in college basketball than Big Blue Nation. And on Thursday, Big Blue Nation went home very disappointed because the Peacocks beat the Cats 85-79. And St. Peter's didn't end there because you often see when one team makes a run, wins a game, but then can't respond. You see UMBC when UMBC beat Virginia, fall back and lose its next game. We'll see a 15 seed now often lose that next game. I mean, yeah, with my school, FGCU became the first 15 seed to reach the Sweet 16, and now all of a sudden 15 seeds are making appearances in the Sweet 16. So now St. Peter's beat Murray State the other night 70-60. So now the Peacocks on the Sweet 16. Yes, the Peacocks, a school with 2,300 undergraduate students. Wow. In a region with some of the big boys in college basketball, Purdue, UCLA, and North Carolina. I'm just saying, a couple of heavyweights, a couple of schools you might have heard of, UCLA, North Carolina, Purdue. I mean, can the Peacocks move on? Because no 15 seeds ever reached an Elite Eight. Can St. Peter's do it? I mean, I think Purdue will go into that game as the heavy favorite. But anything can happen. And to be honest, anything has happened in this year's tournament. My second big storyline has got to be Coach Mike Krzyzewski and Duke, because we all marveled at Michael Jordan's Last Dance a couple years at the Last Dance series. Talk about Michael Jordan with the Chicago Bulls. Well, this is Coach K's last dance as Duke head coach because he's retiring. And it looked a little nail-biting on Sunday against Sparty, but Duke prevailed with a late run in Greenville. So now Duke's in the Sweet 16. What else is new? It seemingly like Duke's in the Sweet 16 and almost any NCAA tournament the Blue Devils won. And also, Coach K didn't just win any game. He won his 1,200th game against Tom Izzo in the final showdown between two Hall of Fame legends. I mean, when I think of basketball in the last 25, 30 years, Tom Izzo and Mike Krzyzewski are two names I always think of. You've got a legend needs Lance and a legend in Durham. Mike Krzyzewski's got 1,200 wins, and I guarantee you right now he's thinking, how do I beat Texas Tech on Thursday night? So, I mean, in a way, Duke's often one of the most hated programs, but knowing this is Coach K's last hurrah, like a great basketball player, could potentially Duke make a special run to New Orleans? Because it'd be nice if it'd be interesting if Coach K could end his legendary career in New Orleans. Number 3 for me this year has got to be the play or maybe lack of play of two big conferences. Because to me, going into this year's tournament, I looked at the Big Ten and SEC as potential of making deep runs. Because I thought the SEC possessed 3 or 4 teams that could potentially, if not make the Sweet 16 or Elite 8, heck, even make New Orleans. Well, Kentucky lost in the first round. Tennessee lost in the second round. LSU, Bama, gone. Auburn, gone. You know who's the only? You know which school's the only SEC team left? That would be the Arkansas Razorbacks. The Arkansas Razorbacks, maybe one of the most underappreciated and underrated teams in the country. Great job, Arkansas. So I'm trying to see who is the Arkansas coach. What a great job Eric Musselman's done in his 3 years since coming from Nevada, and Arkansas in a Sweet 16. I think of from the 40 minutes of hell, Nolan Richardson back in the early mid-90s, and now Arkansas was back in another Sweet 16. I mean, can the Hawks get by Gonzaga on Thursday night? We'll see, but at least SC's got somebody in there. It may not be Tennessee, it may not be Kentucky or Auburn, but somebody's there from the SC. And another conference that I feel like has been disappointing this year is the Big Ten. Because after last year's pitiful display, a lot of people expected the Big Ten to be better. Well, there are only 2 Big Ten teams left, Purdue and Michigan. I mean, a lot of people like Wisconsin going into the tournament. Out. Iowa. Out. Illinois. Out. And there are only 2 Big Ten teams left. You look at the ACC's got multiple. The ACC's got Duke, North Carolina, and Miami left. The Big 12's got Iowa State, Kansas, and Texas Tech. The Pac-12's got UCLA and Arizona. But where are the Big Ten teams? Where are the SEC teams? Most of them are gone. And heck, even TCU almost beat Arizona the other night. So, to me, the SEC and Big Ten have got to be better in March, because this is the time of the season where conferences and programs are graded on. And this year, SEC and Big Ten have failed miserably. And number 4, yes, talented players matter during the NCAA tournament. But you know what else matters? Coaching. Because look at the teams that are left. You've got great coach. Look in the West region. You've got Eric Musselman in Arkansas. Coach K. Texas Tech. Mark Few at Gonzaga. Just saying. Coaching. Look at the Philadelphia region. Coach Payton with Purdue, UCLA Macron. An unbelievable job Hubert Davis has done in his first season taking over Roy Williams and, of course, St. Peter's. In San Antonio, I don't think there's been a better coaching job this year than what Tommy Lloyd has done. I mean, Tommy Lloyd has done a whale of a job taking over for Sean Miller, bringing Arizona back where it belongs. Number one seed, barely surviving TCU, but now Sweet 16, get that bad game on the memory. I think Tommy Lloyd is the national coach of the year and has now got a chance to with these young kids. And by the way, how about Kelvin Sampson, what he's done with Houston? Losing a couple of key guys early in the year, and yet Houston's been great on both offense and defense all year. And that's going to be a difficult game for Arizona in a couple of nights. Houston's one of these teams that can really surprise you. Houston might not put up a ton of points in every game, but so efficient offensively and defensively. Remember, Houston made the Final Four last year. Nobody remembers it because we all remember that crazy UCLA Gonzaga game in Indianapolis. And then, of course, Michigan, Juwan Howard, what he's did in the NBA. Now, Michigan, of course, Jay Wright, one of my favorite coaches. With Villanova, won the national championship in 16 and 18. And it only makes sense to have Villanova make a deep run. I mean, hopefully the Michigan-Villanova game's a little better than when they met a few years ago. And then in Chicago, Kansas, of course, Bill Self's done a great job there. Kansas get a number one seed again. Why are we surprised? It seems like the Jayhawks always get a number one seed. And Providence. That's one of my favorite guys, Ed Cooley, with Providence. The Friars always frying, at least this year. And Providence coming off a very impressive win over Richmond. Iowa State, do you realize Iowa State was, 2-22 last year? And now in the Sweet 16. 2-22, and now they're in the Sweet 16. And face another one of my favorite guys, Jimmy Larinaga. Of course, what Jimmy did with George Mason, 2006. Those guys on an unbelievable run to the Final Four. And Miami's coming off not just a win over Auburn, but a beatdown of Auburn, winning that game 79-61. I mean, be honest, I would say Miami might be a race to 50. There have been some games where teams have struggled to reach 50 points. I think that game's going to be so goal-oriented, but I can't wait to see what happens in Chicago. It'll be a lot of fun to see. And number 5, yeah. Should the 3 remain top seeds now that Baylor's gone, Gonzaga, Kansas, and Arizona be one? Because all 3 of them won very close games this past week. Yes and no. Of course, I mean, every game's going to be different. Sometimes you get one bad game, and seemingly you get one bad game. We all try to avoid that one bad game in March, but unfortunately, it seems like most teams get one, especially if you make a deep run. But unlike Kentucky, against St. Peter's, the Zags, Jayhawks, and Wildcats moved on. And I mean, Gonzaga's an unbelievable offensive team. We know what the Zags can do, especially with Tilly, Holmgren. Maybe Gonzaga's not the best defense team, but Memphis was always going to be a difficult game because the Tigers could run. Nobody wants to run with Gonzaga, but athletically, Memphis matched up really well with the Zags, but Gonzaga held on. Yeah, Kansas was a weird game because Creighton wasn't really a great jump shooting team in the regular season, but yet The Blue Jays, yes. Jayhawks and Blue Jays made it. 100 threes. Crane played out a couple key guys, but Coach McDermott got his guys ready, and Kansas won a nail biter. And then Arizona, speaking of nail biters, that game went to overtime, and maybe if Cole went TCU's way, the Horned Frogs could have been the turner. And then Arizona dunk came like a quarter second after the buzzer. Otherwise, that game would never have gone to overtime. But Arizona won a crazy game in San Diego. So, I mean, I still think all three of those number one seeds are now the clear favorites. But seemingly with this tournament, you never know what to expect. And the way this one's going, will all three of them make it to New Orleans? I don't think so. I think there's a chance one or more of them could fall by the wayside. So, speaking of Sweet 16 picks, Arkansas, Gonzaga. I like the Zags in that game. I think Gonzaga can win. I think first off, I think Gonzaga's better. Gonzaga's been to the Sweet 16. What is it? 6 straight years. Of course, Gonzaga playing the national title game last year. Holmgren and Chile. I'm not sure anybody can match those guys down low. And I think I'm not sure Arkansas can score enough. I think the Zags can score easier. And Texas Tech and Duke's going to be a lot of fun. I know a lot of people are worried about Texas Tech's pressure defense because they can swarm teams. But I really like the way that the Blue Devils handle Sparty when a young team could have fallen. And I think Coach K's got a couple more games in his coaching tree. And in the East region, UCLA and North Carolina. Boy, how about two big programs meeting the Sweet 16 as a 4 and an 8 seed? But both these teams. It's coming off victories in the Sweet 16. Carolina, yeah, the final score might not indicate, but ending Baylor's amateur championship reign. And then UCLA coming off a great one, a very impressive win over a really well-coached St. Mary's school. Trust me, Gonzaga knows how well St. Mary's can play because St. Mary's beat the Zags in the regular season. But, I mean, a couple key injuries, but I think UCLA wins, but this game's a nail biter. I think this is potentially the closest Sweet 16 matchup. You've got you've got a red hot North Carolina team and UCLA team capable of playing anyone. And depends on a couple key injuries, but this game's going right down to the wire. I feel it. And then I know everybody wants to see the Cinderella, but I like Purdue. I think this year Coach Painter and company make deep run. We'll see if it's a Final Four, but I think Purdue ends the Cinderella dream in the Sweet 16. And then Midwest, I think I will say Miami's going to be a very intriguing game. I think it's a very low scoring game. I think it's a game where you'll see two teams control the tempo. I don't think either team will try and run unless you get a fast break, but I like Miami. I think the experience of Jimmy Larinaga matters. And the fact that Miami not just beat Auburn, but steamroll will give the Canes confidence. And then Kansas and Providence. I like Kansas. Kansas is better. I think Kansas is better. The fact that Remy Martin looks healthy gives Kansas a different dimension, and I think Kansas is making a deep run this year. I know Providence is well coached. We know what Ed Cooley and the Friars do, but I like Kansas in this game. And then in San Antonio, I like Arizona and Villanova. I think Arizona is I mean, Houston, you wonder if the Cougars could have a little bit of a home court advantage in San Antonio, but I like Arizona. I think Arizona's better, and I think the Wildcats can can score easier. And then Michigan, Villanova. I like Villanova. I mean, you give Jay Wright extra time against anybody, and I like his chance. So, you know me, I like trivia. So for the night, I wanted to find a good Sweet 16 question. What program has made the most Sweet 16s in NCAA tournament history? Well, might not have done so well this year, but the Kentucky Wildcats have made the most Sweet 16s in the NCAA tournament. I think it's like 43 or 44. I'm not exactly sure off the top of my head, but I think it's 43 or 44 NCAA tournaments. I mean, if you make what 50 some odd NCAA tournaments, you win over 100 games in the tournament, you're gonna make a few Sweet 16s. And actually, I think Kentucky's made 40. I think 44, 45 NCAA tournaments. So Big Blue Nation can celebrate the fact that your school's made the most Sweet 16 appearances. Maybe John Calpulling can get another one next year. But can't wait to see the Sweet 16 this week, and it's going to be crazy. Just get your popcorn, get your beverage of choice, and watch some crazy basketball for the starting on Thursday night. But can't wait for the Sweet 16, and we'll be rocking and rolling. Thanks for tuning in tonight, and we'll see you later.